I'm here with Jackson Hinkle, the most censored man on YouTube. And we're talking about this. Clay Travis went viral with this tweet. He was talking about the CEO of Moderna, talking about how he's upset they have to throw out 30 million of their vaccines. You want to hear it? Here it is.
It's sad to say. I'm in the process of throwing 30 million doses into the garbage because nobody wants them.
So he's in the process. I'll translate it for you, even though he's speaking English. He said he's in the process of throwing away 30 million doses of vaccine because nobody wants them. Okay, here we go. It just took a little while. People started watching the Jimmy Dore show, I guess. Here we go.
It's sad to say. I'm in the process of throwing 30 million doses into the garbage because nobody wants them. We have a big demand problem. We right now have...
I don't know if you heard what he said. We have a big demand problem. Meaning there's nobody wants their vaccines.
Look at how concerned that woman is. She's so
that woman's face.
This is very bad.
Yeah, because I don't know if you know, but that shirt cost $15,000. So that's why she's upset. She's like, "What? I'm gonna have to start buying regular clothes." Here we go.
Governments, we try to contact. Not only is Seth, who is doing great work with his team, trying to get demand into the countries, but also we contacted through the...
So I don't know if you heard what he said. He said, we're doing a very hard work, not only with Seth, who's doing a great job trying to increase demand in other countries. Seth, just keep that in mind. Seth is trying to create demand in other countries.
Washington's the embassies in Washington, every country, and nobody wants to take them. It's sad to say. I'm in the process of throwing 30...
So let's watch it without me stopping it.
It's sad to say. I'm in the process of throwing 30 million doses into the garbage because nobody wants them. We have a big demand problem. We right now have governments. We try to contact, not only Seth, who is doing great work with his team trying to get demand into the countries, but also we contacted through the Washington's the embassies in Washington, every country, and nobody wants to take them. It's
So who is Seth that he's talking about? He's talking about this guy, Seth Berkley. And who is Seth Berkley? He's the CEO of Gavi. What is Gavi? Gavi is the Vaccine Alliance. So you would think that these are good people, right? You go, oh, Vaccine Alliance. What do they do? Well, they help vaccinate half the world's children against deadly and debilitating diseases. They sound like good people. They're going to help half the world. But what if you just heard what Jagoff from Moderna said? That guy who's the head of this, his job is trying to gin up demand for this guy's vaccine. So that's what's going on. You think they're all good people? No, they're all part of a cabal. They're all drug dealers trying to gin up demand. Hey, I don't know. Why don't you go distribute crack in the inner cities in Los Angeles? See if you guys could start some demand for it. So why do you think Moderna had to get rid of 30 million vaccines? Oh, maybe it's because of this. Young men's myocarditis risk 5 times higher with Moderna than with the Pfizer vax. You know Pfizer's new advertising campaign is, we're 5 times safer than Moderna. There it is. But Canadian study finds that. So there it is. Young men's myocarditis risk 5 times higher with Moderna than versus. You want to hear? Here's the stats. Here's the goddamn stats. Cases of myocarditis or pericarditis were highest in men ages 18 to 24, reaching almost 300 cases per million. Is that a low number to you? If you were one of the 300, it wouldn't be. So after a second dose of Moderna, 300 people had myocarditis or pericarditis, as compared to 59.2 cases per million from Pfizer. So you see that? So that's a lot less. So they're a lot, I can't do math, but I think that's 3 times higher. Or 4 times. That's almost 4 times higher. 400% increase. Again, I'm not a math surgeon, so check me on these numbers. And that's from the JAMA network, which sounds like a great band. but it's not. JAMA stands for the Journal of American Medicine Association or something like that, I think. Something like that. I'll ask Suri if anybody cares. Hey, Suri, what does JAMA stand for?
Okay, I found this on the web.
The Journal of American Medical. I was right. I will check it out. Thank you. Okay, it worked. Okay. Want to know something else? In this group of men, an 8-week interval or a longer lowered the second dose risk. So they figured that out after they gave out millions and millions and millions of doses of the vaccine. They then figured out, oh, we should have a longer interval in between. So when I got my vaccine from Moderna, they told me to wait 4 weeks. So I only waited 4 weeks. Now they find out you should actually wait 8 weeks.
Jimmy, you froze there. Did you say you got Moderna?
Yes, I got the Moderna.
Yeah.
And now now they're saying that you should space them out 8 weeks. Before they said 4 weeks. Now they just double it. Oh, apparently. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I don't know. I was just gonna say, like, it seems like the medical community is still not accepting these facts, because I had some chest issues and I thought maybe it was myocarditis because I got the first Moderna shot.
Yeah.
And I went and asked my cardiologist if maybe it could have been like if what I have might be myocarditis from that. And she got all mad at me that I asked. I was like, what type of a response is this? You're supposed to be a doctor that just looks at the facts, but they're not doing that. It's all politicized now. And they're not even accepting these numbers. It's insane.
So if you do that, by the way, I had a neurologist that was just as stupid as your cardiologist. But luckily I had a great cardiologist. When I got vaccine injured, I went to a cardiologist and he told me, he said, "Oh, man, I'm seeing all kinds of people having trouble with this." So he said, "I'm seeing all kinds of people like you." So anyway, and then my primary physician was also up to date. She was up to date on how to treat COVID and people who were vaccine injured, stuff like that. But I went to a neurologist. He just sounded like an idiot. Like, that says it from the vax. And he was one of those guys, "Are you vaccinated?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Then we can take our masks off." I go, it's not how it works. And he didn't know anything about it. I knew more about it than that neurologist, who I had to wait 2 months to get in to see, by the way.
Yep.
So if you do wait the 8 weeks, guess what happens then? Then it's only 132.5 cases per million that get heart inflammation. That it lowers it. But still, Pfizer then goes even lower, only 11 cases per million. So Moderna is according to this, you see the numbers. And now I wonder why they had to get rid of 30 million. And so now, but luckily Moderna has this guy, Seth Berkley, trying to gin up demand for the vaccine. He's the CEO of Gavi, the Vaccine Alliance, medical doctor specializing in infectious disease epidemiology and global health. That's all it's about. It's all about health. It's all he cares about. That's all anybody cares about. So there's more to this. So let's just remember that they've lied to you all the way through this, because now they're pretending to realize all this stuff. Watch this.
It wasn't until early February, when I was in a meeting, that experts at the foundation said, "There's no way, there's been too much travel without diagnosis for us to contain this."
So he's saying that he knew in February 2020 that they were never going to be able to contain this. Now, he's lying there because he's saying it's because of the travel. Now, we now know that vaccine is a leaky vaccine, meaning it's non-sterilizing, meaning it doesn't stop you from contracting the virus or from transmitting it. Now, YouTube makes me say that it does slow those things down. But the point of the vaccine now is not to stop. The point now is to stop you from becoming seriously ill or hospitalized or dead. So what he's saying there, and you can tell he's trying to pretend like the reason why the vaccine, we weren't going to be able to contain it, was because of so much travel. Now watch the next thing he says.
And then at that point, we didn't really understand the fatality rate. We didn't understand that it's a fairly low fatality rate and that it's a disease mainly of the elderly, kind of like flu is, although a bit different than.
So he said we didn't know then that it has a low fatality rate. What does? COVID-19. That's what he said. Has a low fatality rate. And it affects mostly who? The elderly. Kind of like the flu, but a little different. So what we should have been doing all along, he's kind of tacitly admitting, is the Barrington Declaration, which is the idea that we should have targeted lockdowns. We should have targeted protection for people who are vulnerable, meaning elderly people who have comorbidities. Most people who, the average age of death from COVID-19 over the age of life expectancy. And here's one more thing they won't tell you, is that mandates mean nothing and never made sense. Why?
The idea of checking if people are vaccinated, if you have breakthrough infections, what's the point?
Let me play it again, tell you one more time.
The idea of checking if people are vaccinated, if you have breakthrough infections, what's the point?
So there you go. There's two big arguments against vaccine mandates. That they're not going to stop. He said in February 2020, he knew they were never going to be able to contain the virus and stop the spread. Well, I was told that that's what the vaccines were going to do. And then he also says, what's the point of mandating it, checking for someone's vaccine status, if we have breakthrough infections? Meaning if you're going to get, and now they're all saying it, everyone's going to get COVID anyway. So which is a complete difference of what they were saying. What they were saying was this.
Means that instead of the vaccine being able, instead of the virus being able to hop from person to person to person to person, spreading and spreading, sickening some of them, but not all of them. And the ones that it doesn't sicken don't know they have it. And then they give it to even more people because they didn't recognize they were, right? Instead of the virus being able to hop from person to person to person, potentially mutating and becoming more virulent and drug resistant along the way. Now we know that the vaccines work well enough that the virus stops with every vaccinated person.
Nothing she said in that is true. Everything she said was false. Everything.
Jimmy, she's been working too hard. She was just dying to get on her hiatus.
That's
you
right.
Can't blame her.
And so she's not going to be given the label of misinformer. She's not going to be given the label of conspiracy theorist. She's not going to have that video taken down from YouTube. Nothing's going to happen. Why? Because she was lying in a way that Big Pharma approved of. She was telling a lie that benefited their profits. And so that's why that lie, no one even knows she did it. No one even knows she did that because her lie benefited Big Pharma's profits, and Big Pharma owns the government. And they own the media because that's what a couple $100 billion gets you. It gets you enough money. You know how much money all the music recording industry in the United States makes a year? $12 billion. That's every recorded piece of music in the United States makes $12 billion. That's from everybody, from Mozart to Snoop Dogg to whoever's popular now. $12 billion a year. That's it. You know how much Moderna made? $83 billion. Last year. Do you know how much money that is? That's enough money to buy everybody in the government and everybody in the media. And so they got to get rid of 30 million doses. Isn't that something? And
that
these
is something.
And these are the numbers. These are the numbers. So if you're for a mandate, this is why you're wrong.
I wonder what's going to happen with those monkeypox vaccines that they're creating in mass right now. Millions of them. I bet that guy from Global Alliance is going to have a very lucrative paycheck coming his way soon.
Yeah, from Gavi. He's going to be out. He's going to be out there. The guy from Gavi is going to be out there ginning up demand for the monkeypox vaccine, telling people to go to sex parties and have an open sore, put a Band-Aid over it. They're throwing them away because the U.S. government already paid for them.
Jeez.
Grocery stores in the United States. So this is my favorite. Grocery stores in the United States throw away 16 billion pounds of food every year. Using MAGA logic, that means food is dangerous. No, that's not. No, using your logic. Using your logic. That's not using MAGA logic. That's your logic. That is the weirdest thing I've ever seen someone tried to put together. Here's one more. I mean, why take liability-free product that doesn't work and could have... Why not take a liability-free product that doesn't work and could adversely affect you? That says from Mary. I think the vaccines are fantastic. They save you from serious illness and hospitalization and death, and everybody should take them twice. Here's my favorite. This is somebody called A Bad Fox Graphics, so that's their handle. Awful sports prognosticator and triply infected Fox News anti-vaxxer Clay Travis goes viral with Davis clip of Moderna CEO Stéphane Bancel speaking about the vaccine demand 3 months ago, well before the vaccine was approved in children. What? So what? So that guy from Moderna was lying that he had to throw out 30 million vaccines? Is that what you're saying? Because that's not true. He's the one who said it. Not Clay Davis didn't make that up. The guy from Moderna made it up. He said it. That's the weirdest thing. What is people's emotional investment in siding with Big Pharma, even when Big Pharma's not even saying it? It's the weirdest thing. That is the weirdest thing. The guy, he's just quoting the guy. Hey, we're coming to Tulsa, Oklahoma City, Detroit, Los Angeles, Spokane, Tacoma, Denver. Go to jimmydorecomedy.com for a link for all our tickets for all our live shows. See you there.